Nobody tells you that money does not just change your bank account. It changes how you breathe. It changes how you sleep at night. It changes how you walk into a room. It changes what you say yes to and what you say no to, and how much energy you spend every single day just managing the anxiety of not having enough, or finally, for the first time in your life, having some. Most financial content talks about numbers. This is not about numbers. This is about what each level of money actually does to your body, your mind, your relationships, and your daily reality. Because nobody warns you about that part, and that part is everything. You have probably heard someone say money does not buy happiness, and you sat there thinking that person has clearly never had to choose between groceries and electricity, because from where you're standing, money buys something that feels very close to happiness. It buys options. It buys sleep. It buys the ability to say yes to your kid when they ask for something small without doing mental math in your head while your chest tightens. It buys the ability to handle an unexpected $800 car repair without it destroying your entire month. The people who say money doesn't matter have enough of it that they forgot what not having it actually feels like in your body, in your nervous system, in the way you carry yourself through every single day. This video is for the people who have not forgotten, and it is for the people trying to understand what is waiting on the other side of the work they are putting in right now. Here's something that the research actually confirms, and it will reframe every level we are about to walk through. A 2021 study by Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman and economist Matthew Killingsworth found that money does increase emotional well-being, but not in a simple, straight line most people assume. The relationship between money and how good your daily life actually feels is real, measurable, and continues further up the income scale than previous research suggested. But here's what the same research showed that nobody talks about. The gains are not equal at every level. The jump from $0 to $10,000 in savings produces a dramatically larger shift in daily emotional experience than the jump from $100,000 to $1 million. The lower levels hit different. They hit harder, and understanding why, understanding what each level actually unlocks in your real life changes how you prioritize, how you save, and how urgently you treat the early stages of building wealth. So let's walk through every level. Honestly, no sugarcoating, no motivational speech, just the truth. 0 is not just a number. 0 is a physiological state. When you have nothing saved, when your account balance is at or near 0 between paychecks, your nervous system operates in a constant low-grade emergency mode. Psychologists call it scarcity mindset, but that term makes it sound abstract. It's not abstract. It is the way your brain actually reorganizes its priorities when survival feels uncertain. Research from Princeton economist Sendhil Nolanathan shows that financial scarcity consumes cognitive bandwidth the same way a computer slows down when it's running too many programs. When you're worried about money, your brain is running a background program constantly, calculating, forecasting, problem-solving, stressing, and that program runs whether you want it to or not. It reduces your IQ equivalent by approximately 13 points in testing environments. It affects your decision-making, your patience, your relationships, and your ability to think long-term. When you have $0, every small financial surprise is a crisis, a flat tire, a doctor visit, a broken appliance. These are not inconveniences. They are emergencies that require immediate triage. And living in that mode month after month, year after year, is exhausting in a way that people who have never experienced it genuinely cannot understand. But here's the problem. The stress of 0 doesn't just hurt you emotionally, it actively makes it harder to get out. The decisions that look irrational from the outside, the impulse purchase, the payday loan, the avoidance of opening bills, make complete psychological sense when you understand that the brain under scarcity is not optimizing for the future, it's managing the present pain of right now. And that's the trap that 0 builds around itself. $10,000 is not wealth, but it is the first time money starts to feel like safety instead of survival. This is the number that most financial advisors call the real emergency fund threshold, 3 to 6 months of expenses for the average American household. And what it unlocks is not luxury. What it unlocks is the single most underrated financial feeling in existence, the ability to handle a problem without it becoming a catastrophe. Your car breaks down. You fix it. Your account drops, but you do not spiral. You do not miss rent. You do not go into debt. You handle it and you move forward. That sounds simple. For someone who has lived at zero, that feeling is transformative. $10,000 also changes your relationship with your job. Not dramatically, you are not quitting anything, but there is a psychological shift that happens when you know you have a small buffer. You negotiate slightly differently. You tolerate less. You make slightly better decisions because the scarcity program running in the background gets quieter. Not silent, but quieter. And that cognitive space opens up room for better thinking. Studies show that households with as little as $2,000 in liquid savings report significantly lower levels of financial anxiety than households with zero, even when their incomes are identical. The number matters less than the existence of a floor. $10,000 is a real floor, and standing on a floor changes everything about how you move. But here's the problem. $10,000 has a dangerous feeling attached to it that most people do not expect. It feels like enough, and it's not. Staying here too long, feeling settled at $10,000 is one of the most common places people plateau. Because the buffer is real, but the wealth is not yet built, and the next level is where everything changes. $100,000 is the level where money stops being defensive and starts being offensive. Below this number, your financial strategy is mostly about protection, emergency fund, avoiding debt, not losing ground. At $100,000, for the first time, your money starts doing meaningful work while you sleep. At 7% average market returns, $100,000 generates approximately $7,000 a year in growth without you touching it, adding to it, or thinking about it. That's not life-changing income, but it is the beginning of something that compounds into life-changing over time. The feeling at $100,000 is hard to describe to someone who has not reached it. It's a quiet confidence, not arrogance, not security exactly. It's more like this. Options have appeared in your life that did not exist before. You can take a career risk. You can leave a situation that isn't working. You can say no to something that would have trapped you a year ago. The psychology researcher Abraham Maslow described a hierarchy of human needs where safety must be secured before higher-level needs, belonging, esteem, and purpose can be genuinely pursued. $100,000 is not the top of Maslow's pyramid, but it is the first level where financial safety is real enough that your brain starts investing energy in those higher levels. You start thinking about your career differently, your relationships differently, what you actually want your life to look like. But here's the problem. $100,000 also brings a new kind of pressure nobody warns you about. You start to feel what you could lose, and that fear of losing what you've built can be just as paralyzing as the fear of not having enough. People at this level sometimes stop taking the very risks that would carry them to the next level because now there's something real to protect. The scarcity mindset evolves. It does not disappear. Here's the truth about $1 million that the internet will never tell you. It does not feel the way you think it feels. The fantasy version of $1 million is private jets and total freedom and never worrying about money again. The reality version of $1 million, especially in 2024 America, is significantly more complicated and significantly quieter. $100,000 invested conservatively generates roughly $40,000 a year using the 4% safe withdrawal rate that financial planners use for retirement sustainability. $40,000 a year. That's below the median household income in most American states. In a high cost of living city, it doesn't cover rent, healthcare, and basic living expenses without depleting the principal. $1 million is real wealth, but it is not unlimited freedom. It is not never working again. For most Americans, it is, finally, a foundation that gives you genuine choices about how and how much you work, without the foundation itself being at risk. What changes most at $1 million is not the lifestyle. It is the relationship with time. People at this level consistently report that the most valuable thing wealth provides is not what they can buy. It is what they can stop doing. The meeting they do not have to take, the job they do not have to keep, the city they do not have to stay in. Time becomes the real currency, and $1 million buys back some of yours. Every level we just walked through reveals the same deeper truth. Money does not change who you are. It amplifies what was already there and removes the noise that was drowning it out. At zero, the noise of survival drowns everything. At $10,000, the volume drops slightly. At $100,000, you start hearing yourself clearly for the first time. At $1 million, the noise is quiet enough that you finally have to confront the real question. What do you actually want your life to be? The goal of building wealth is not the number. It is the progressive recovery of your attention, your energy, your time, and your ability to make decisions from a place of clarity instead of crisis. Every dollar you save and invest is not just a financial transaction. It is a vote for a quieter life, a clearer mind, a version of yourself that makes decisions from strength instead of fear. That is what the numbers actually mean. Step 1, get to $10,000 with obsessive focus before anything else. Not investing, not crypto, not side hustles. A high-yield savings account earning 4.5% or higher, funded aggressively until you have a real floor under your life. This single move changes your psychology faster than any other financial action you can take. Step 2, automate the path from $10,000 to $100,000. Set up automatic transfers to a Roth IRA or index fund account on payday before you can spend it. Even $200 a month, automated and untouched, grows to over $36,000 in 10 years at market averages. Automation removes willpower from the equation entirely. Step 3, stop treating these levels as destinations and start treating them as transitions. Every level exists to fund the next one. $10,000 funds the stability that lets you build to $100,000. $100,000 funds the confidence that lets you take the risks that reach $1 million. The journey is sequential. Do not skip floors. You already know what 0 feels like. You may know what 10,000 feels like. You're working toward what comes next. The levels above you are not out of reach. They are sequential, they are mathematical, and they are available to anyone who understands what each one actually requires. Not just financially, but mentally and emotionally. Keep going. The version of your life waiting at the next level is worth every sacrifice the current level is asking for. If this channel is giving you the clarity and the honesty that standard financial content never does, subscribe, because this is exactly what we build here every single week. Drop your current level in the comments, $0, $10K, $100K, or $1M, and tell us where you're trying to go. One sentence, drop it below. See you in the next one.